A political hearing room in Seoul has suddenly become part of BTS's comeback story, and the debate unfolding there is no longer just about a concert. It is about ownership, sovereignty, and who controls the narrative of South Korea's most influential cultural export. Just weeks before BTS steps onto the stage at Gwanghwamun Square for their full group reunion performance, members of the National Assembly's Culture and Sports panel question HYBE over its agreement granting Netflix exclusive global streaming rights to BTS The Comeback Live. What was meant to be a celebratory return now finds itself pulled into a national conversation about intellectual property and platform power.
Hey, Army! Quick pause before we keep going. If you're loving these BTS updates, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and join our family of global fans. That way, you'll never miss a single record-breaking moment. All right, let's jump back into the story.
The March 21 event is already positioned as one of the most significant live broadcasts in K-pop history. Held at 8 p.m. KST in the symbolic heart of Seoul and streamed simultaneously across 190 regions through Netflix, the concert marks BTS's complete reunion in front of a live audience, alongside the first stage performances of songs from their fifth studio album, ARIRANG, set for release a day earlier. But inside the National Assembly, lawmakers raise concerns that extend beyond ticket sales or viewership projections. Their questions center on whether granting sole streaming rights to a US-based platform risks repeating what officials describe as a possible second K-pop Demon Hunters scenario. That earlier project, frequently referenced during the session, prominently incorporated Korean themes and cultural elements, yet critics argued that production control and distribution structures disproportionately benefited overseas corporations. The phrase value leakage surfaces in discussions, signaling anxiety that while Korean artists generate global demand, the structural advantages may ultimately favor foreign intermediaries. Against that backdrop, lawmakers press HYBE for clarity. Does Netflix's exclusivity mean Korean intellectual property could effectively migrate beyond domestic control? Could revenue streams or decision-making authority shift in ways that weaken national cultural leverage? HYBE responds formally and directly. In its submission to the panel, the company states that essential ownership of BTS's music, stage performances, master recordings, and copyrights remains entirely with HYBE and the artists. Netflix, according to the explanation, functions strictly as a global broadcaster, not a rights holder. The exclusivity agreement applies solely to the live transmission of the March 21 concert titled BTS Comeback Live. It does not transfer intellectual property, nor does it grant Netflix authority over future uses of the content. Control over artistic direction, performance design, and production supervision remains under HYBE's jurisdiction. The company further emphasizes that income generated from the songs themselves, as well as related promotional exposure, continues to accrue within Korea. By drawing a distinction between distribution access and ownership rights, HYBE seeks to counter the perception that creative assets are being outsourced. The arrangement, executives argue, is a broadcast partnership aligned with HYBE's strategic planning rather than a structural surrender of IP authority. The international ARIRANG World Tour, launching in April, operates under separate commercial agreements, reinforcing that Netflix's involvement is limited to the single March 21 live event and the associated documentary release. That documentary, titled BTS The Return, is scheduled to premiere on March 27th and chronicles the creation of ARIRANG. While produced within the same collaboration framework, HYBE maintains that it does not alter ownership status of the music or performances depicted. Still, the parliamentary debate expands into broader concerns about platform sovereignty in an era when global streaming giants increasingly shape how cultural moments are consumed. The optics of exclusivity, even when ownership remains domestic, become politically sensitive when national pride and global visibility intersect. Outside the assembly, online reaction escalates rapidly. Many fans describe the scrutiny as excessive, arguing that BTS's global partnerships have long amplified South Korea's cultural presence, rather than diminished it. Social media fills with commentary suggesting that while the government benefits from the economic ripple effects of BTS's worldwide success, it now responds with suspicion instead of celebration. For supporters, the timing feels especially charged, arriving just as the group prepares for its first complete reunion stage in years. HYBE also addresses a practical question that surfaces repeatedly during public discussion. Why choose Netflix over YouTube? The company explains that while YouTube primarily provides hosting infrastructure, Netflix contributes substantial financial investment toward production, transmission logistics, and coordinated global marketing. That backing, HYBE argues, reduces capital risk and elevates broadcast quality. The ability to stream simultaneously in 190 countries with stable servers and integrated promotion is framed as a technical and strategic advantage, particularly for a live event of this magnitude. Executives stress that Netflix's role aligns with distribution rather than creative governance. Stage design, camera planning, performance sequencing, and artistic decisions remain under HYBE's supervision. The partnership, they contend, expands global reach without compromising domestic control. In this framing, the collaboration becomes a calculated amplification tool rather than a transfer of authority. The broader context underscores why the stakes feel so high. On March 20th, the day before the concert, BTS unveils ARIRANG, their fifth studio project, signaling a new chapter after a period of individual activities and global anticipation. On March 21, Gwanghwamun Square transforms into a symbolic reunion stage, merging civic space with pop spectacle. 6 days later, the documentary premieres worldwide, extending the narrative beyond the performance itself. And beginning in April, the ARIRANG World Tour launches across 34 territories with 82 concerts, reaffirming BTS's touring dominance on a scale few artists can match. What emerges from the parliamentary questioning is not merely a dispute over one contract, but a reflection of how deeply BTS is woven into South Korea's cultural economy. When lawmakers debate distribution frameworks for a concert, it signals recognition that BTS operates at the level of national infrastructure, not just entertainment. The tension between global expansion and domestic stewardship is no longer theoretical. It is unfolding in real time, under public scrutiny, as the comeback approaches. Yet, as the conversation intensifies, one fact remains constant. Ownership of the music, the performances, and the creative vision remains anchored with the artists and their company. The March 21 broadcast will carry the BTS name across continents in a synchronized global moment, but the intellectual core of that moment stays rooted where it was created. In that distinction lies the balance HYBE insists it has preserved. As BTS prepares to step onto the Gwanghwamun stage, the debate surrounding the Netflix deal adds another layer to an already historic return. It reveals how far the group's influence extends, reaching not only charts and streaming platforms, but parliamentary chambers and national policy discussions. The fury online, the questioning in government halls, and the clarifications from HYBE all point to the same reality. BTS is no longer simply a band staging a comeback. They are a cultural force whose every move prompts economic, political, and global consideration. And when they sing at 8 p.m. KST on March 21, the world will not only be watching a concert, it will be witnessing the intersection of art, industry, and national identity unfolding in real time.